Heidi ho friends, Taffy here. So I had recently done a video about the haunted farm, the haunted barn, my doll. This one I'm going to tell you about our haunted house that my boyfriend and I moved into. It was the perfect house. It was our dream house. It was big, enough rooms for everybody, and it was not a real old house, but it was an older house. And it had hardwood floors throughout, ceramic tile, gorgeous. And a creepy old fireplace. And when we went to look at the house, you walk in and you automatically feel that something's there watching you that you can't see. So I kind of suspected that it might be haunted. So we were approved. We got the house and started moving in. I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be so happy here. This is our perfect house. Yeah. Our first night, as it was getting dark, I was feeling more and more spooked. I could feel more and more dread. And I don't know what it was about the kitchen area, but I would not go in the kitchen by myself. Of course, you go through the kitchen that leads to the basement stairs. And the basement was so cold and so creepy. The staircase was cold and creepy. But, I didn't see anything weird. I didn't hear anything. Well, at first, it was just a really overwhelming, creepy feeling. And my lovely boyfriend, he was getting a kick out of how scared I was. And, I grew up with three brothers that like to scare me and torment me. So they kind of conditioned me where, I wasn't really afraid of too much, ghosts or things lurking in the dark. But my boyfriend was making fun of me. He got a kick out of how scared I was and laughing at me that I would not go in the kitchen after it got dark. I would not. And I'm like, baby, go in the kitchen with me. I want to get something to eat. He thought it was funny. But he did. He was a sweetheart. He went in the kitchen with me. That night, our first night, I didn't want to shut the lights off. And I couldn't take my eyes off the bedroom door. I felt like somebody was standing in the doorway watching us sleep. And so I didn't get a whole lot of sleep the first night. Second night, pretty much the same thing. And so, yeah, I do believe in ghosts. I believe in the paranormal. So, it may have been silly, it may not, but I'm like, okay, whatever's here, whoever you are, I love this house. This house is mine now. I will keep it clean. I will take care of it, because I kind of almost got the sense that whatever was there may have built the house, or, that was their family's house. They loved the house. There were apparently squatters living in the house before we moved in. They got kicked out, and then they cleaned it up and put in new tile and paint and whatnot, fixed it up, did repairs. I don't know why I thought this, but I kind of got the feeling that that's why whatever was there was trying to scare us out of the house, was that maybe they thought we were going to destroy the house, not keep it up, whatnot. So I made it a point to talk to whatever was there and say, you know, look, you can live here, I can live here, we don't need to be afraid of each other, blah-de-blah, so on. Well, I think it was it the first week that we lived there that Azzy came over?
It was like a month later.
A month later. Yeah, so my boyfriend's best friend, his name is Azzy, he came over with my friend Jessica, and, you know, we had told them about the ghost, whatever's going on in this house, that it's, you know, it's haunted. So Azzy brings his equipment over, his ghost hunting equipment, and Jessica and I go out of the house. We go clear out by the road, so we're nowhere near the house. The only two people in the house was my boyfriend and his friend Azzy. So they take the equipment down in the basement, turn all the lights off, they're sitting in the middle of the floor, and they start an EVP session. And so Azzy asks, you know, just simple question, can you tell me what your name is? What is your name? And you can clearly hear an older man's raspy voice say, Calvin. Whoa, that freaked me out. I kind of got the feeling there was more than one ghost in this house, but I wasn't really sure. So I love yard work. I love being out digging in the dirt. Yeah, I'm OCD, but I like to, you know, plant flowers and gardening and stuff like that. It's just relaxing to me. So I'm outside doing yard work and saw the neighbor across the street out in his yard. So I go over and just start talking to him. You know, we're new neighbors. We haven't met yet. So I don't even remember how the conversation started, but he had said something kind of to the fact that, yeah, the guy that built the house died of a heart attack in the basement. And I'm like, oh, did you know him? And he said, Calvin? Oh, yeah, I knew Calvin. I about dropped dead. That freaked me out. And I'm like, Calvin. So I kind of told him about our EVP session. He goes, yeah, Calvin built this house. He loved this house. And he said, yeah, he was the kind of person that if there were ghosts, he would be a ghost. And he would probably scare the hell out of whoever's in there damaging the house. So he said, yeah, I could totally see that. Okay, so now we have a name. And that would explain why I was afraid of the kitchen, why I was afraid of the basement stairs. And that's where the feeling was so strong. We'd have, you know, different things like anytime a female would take a shower, and I don't know if he was a prankster or what, but get in the shower and everything's fine, nice hot shower, you're almost done, all of a sudden in an instant, and there's no washers going, dishwasher wasn't going, no other water running in the house, it would go to instant ice cold. And let out a scream, and the water would get warm again. But that would only happen to the females, you know. None of the guys experienced that. And my boyfriend plays bass, and in the dining room area, he had a little, you know, his little music station set up, you know, his stereo and his amps and his bass, and he was at home alone, and he said that he felt somebody directly behind him watching him play his bass. He didn't have quite as many experiences as me. Of course, I believe in that stuff, and he was more of a skeptic. I think he's more of a believer now. I don't know, do you believe now?
I'm warming up to it.
But, you know, even company, we'd have friends come over and they could definitely feel stuff. My oldest daughter was back in her bedroom. And, okay, when we first started moving in, I was in my daughter's room cleaning it. And, of course, my OCD, the house was clean, but I cleaned it anyway. Cleaning it, getting ready for all my daughter's belongings to come in. And I pulled the blinds up, and I'm just like, oh, shit. I'm like, Jake! He comes in, I'm like, clean this off before my daughter gets here. On the window in red, was it lipstick? In red, blood red lipstick. Somebody had wrote on the window, help me, baby. Oh, that was freaky. But my daughter was sitting in her room one night. I was in the front room, and I could see down the hall where my daughter's room was at. I'm watching, of course, what I always watch, a horror movie. All the lights off. All of a sudden, I hear her door open, and I'm looking down the hall, and she's not coming out of her room. And it wasn't like my daughter to open her door to leave it open. She likes her privacy. She likes the door shut. I heard the door open, and then pretty soon I heard it shut. But I didn't see my daughter. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go back to my movie. Pretty soon, her door opens again. It shuts again. I'm like, what is she doing? It happened a third time. So I get up and I go in there. I said, why do you keep opening and closing your door? She goes, Mom, it keeps opening by itself. She goes, I get up and shut it. 10 minutes later, it opens up again. Okay. About the same time this was happening with the door opening by itself, she was sitting in her room and she's got this, like, fairly good size figurine. She's sitting on her bed and she said, Mom, it shifted this way, then shifted that way, and then fell. And I guess this happened twice. And so, okay, her room's haunted. She wasn't really scared. She was a little freaked out, but she wasn't really scared. Well, later on, we're having like a yard sale. And this guy comes through and he's like, yeah, this was my grandma's house. And I said, oh, your grandma? And he said, yeah, after Calvin died, my grandma bought the house. And I guess his grandma was a major alcoholic. Anyway, he said that she had died in that back bedroom, which was my daughter's room where this stuff was going on. And back up a little bit, I had a friend come over and she said, yeah, I'm picking up a woman back in this side of the house named Mary. And so, you know, I've got it in my head, this woman's name was Mary. And I asked him, I said, what was your grandma's first name? And he said, Mary. Okay. So that was freaky. That's 2 names. One I got on an EVP. One, a friend had told me because she was like psychically picking up this woman's name. And they were both confirmed by people I didn't even know. I asked my daughter if she was scared, and she said, no, not really. It's a little freaky, but she's not hurting me. You know, she's just playing pranks on me, I guess. I don't know, but I was glad my daughter wasn't afraid, you know, because we still love the house. We ended up losing the house. We had to move out of it, which was so sad. And both of my daughters, they would go out and pick flowers, and they'd take it down to the basement. They thought, well, we'll keep the peace. And they would go down the basement, and just say hi to Calvin and leave flowers down there. And, you know, we just kind of made it a point to, like, I guess, include them in the family. You know, we would talk to them. We would call them by names. You know, we'd say, good morning, Calvin. Good morning, Mary. And all the weird stuff kind of died down a little bit. Every once in a while, like, you know, if we didn't greet them, it wasn't talked about or whatever, they would do something to remind us that they're there. So when we were getting ready to move out, you know, teary-eyed, choked up, sad, we made sure to say goodbye to them. You know, it was almost like leaving family. And we still think about Calvin and Mary. We still think about the house, and we miss it. We really miss it. So anyway, that's our haunted house story. I'm posting a couple pictures of our house, just the outside view. No, there's not a real cemetery in the front of our house. The hearse in the picture belonged to my boyfriend, but they're Halloween pictures. We do up the yard real big for Halloween, so they're all styrofoam headstones. It was fun. Halloween night, we did have quite a few people say, yeah, we always knew this house was haunted, you know. And we've had people ask us, you know, is your house really haunted? Yeah. If we owned it, we probably would have changed the color. Yellow is not my color. But terribly miss the house and the ghosts. If you're afraid of ghosts, if you really believe in ghosts, you're afraid of them. Maybe find out who they are, talk to them, make peace with them. You know, I never really had any problems with violent ghosts. But that's the end of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And Taffy's word of the day.